welcome to another edition of the Whispers Empowered Show brought to you by Whispers to Humanity with support from Action Aid. So today we're going to take a look at a couple of topics that we've discussed from the beginning of the program and how it has grown and up until now. We're going to do like a rundown of some of the topics that we've discussed, talking about feminism, changing the narrative on misconceptions of feminism, intro to ableism, understanding intersectionality and standing in solidarity, and also changing the narrative allyship, intergenerational solidarity. All these are more we'll be talking about on today's edition of the Whispers Empowered Show. But before we go ahead, we have a guest in the studio, but before I introduce him, let's go listen to this radio drama. Pay attention to this drama because this drama encompasses all the topics I've mentioned right now. Listen to that radio drama. It's just talking about the Whispers Empowered Show, particularly about the My Emo project, My Emo project, right? Which Ozichukwu is going to throw more light on and tell us what My Emo project is all about. Like I said earlier on, we're going to take a look at some of the topics we discussed from the beginning of the program. In case you don't know, the program started in on July 23rd, to be precise. Yes, on Boss Radio 98.9 FM every Saturday from 10 a.m. up until 11 a.m. I want to say it's been an amazing ride. We have talked about different topics, inciting topics, particularly pay your tax as a Nigerian, which we've talked about for a couple of weeks now. But the first topic on the Whisper Show was changing the narrative on misconceptions of feminism. So let's start with that. That was the first topic ever discussed on the Whisper Show. Like I said earlier on, that we have a guest in the studio, Mr. Efelbat Obina Ume, MD, Epic Farms Limited, Imo State Coordinator, Safer Internet Day, and also volunteer with Whisper to Humanity. Good morning, Mr. Efelbat.
Good morning. Good morning, listeners.
Nice to have you. Welcome to the Boss Radio Were.
Thank you very much.
So the first topic we'll be looking at, which we discussed on Whispers to Humanity, is changing the narrative on misconceptions of feminism. So from your own point of view, can you just give us a detailed explanation of what feminism is all about?
Thank you very much. Feminism to me is all about championing human rights, especially women and girls, empowering them as agents of change. Like I always tell people, I'm a pro-male feminist.
A he for she.
Pardon?
A he for she.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, just like Whispers to Humanity is all about connecting, networking, and empowering women as agents of change in the society. So, back to your question, is feminism to me is all about empowering and connecting, making women like you mentioned, be the change you want to see in the world. Women, investing in women is one of the ways we can boost the change and bring a transformational society that we all look up to.
Like you mentioned that giving women the boost they need, but some men do not see it in that light. Some of them think that once you mention the name feminism, it means you're giving women power to step on the heads of men and do whatever they want to do.
No, feminism is all about, that's a complete misconception because feminism is all about equality. And when you talk about equality, you talk about primus inter pares, first among equals. Man and woman are equal, but then among them, the man, even the Bible made it clear that the man is the head of the family. It doesn't mean that the woman is the tail. Not at all. She is not a liability also.
The neck.
But yes, she's the neck. Okay, good. She can be the neck. So when you talk about feminism, you talk about equality. You talk about boosting the leadership capacity of each of them to complement each other for a better society.
Okay. Ozichukwu, the ball is in your court.
Mrs. talked about it being a misconception and all that. Feminism is equal rights, basically. And when people tell me, youth nowadays, when I tell you now I'm a feminist, they're like, you don't come. You don't start. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? and they're like, all the food I was spending now on that to assure people is hard because people have to do you are bigger, you are higher. It's not true. Feminism is basically equal rights to me. Feminism is the rights a man should have is the same right a woman should have. A right, a privilege a man should have the same right a privilege a woman. It hampers more on the female gender because they are seen as a minority in society. There are privileges a man would have that I would not have. A man can walk into a market anywhere and then you're not born you were touch them anyhow. Do you understand? But not, women don't have that same privilege. Women get harassed. It's harassment actually. In crowded places, in market spaces, they cannot tell you excuse. They have to touch you, your waist, your shift. Like why is it necessary? So basically feminism for me is equal rights. Sometimes I say I'm a humanist because
That's what they always say. It's better you say you're
it's
a
better you
humanist
say
than
you're a
say you're because
humanist.
feminist has this
Exactly.
negative
They
vibe.
feel it's because it's femme that it means it's female. This is that is not what it means. I advocate for the rights of men. Okay? I teach young boys. Do you understand? So it's equal rights. You cannot, I keep saying you cannot keep teaching the girl child, and you're leaving the boys.
Hmm.
You're not doing any good to society. Teach the both genders. Teach them equal things. Teach them, if you're talking menstruation, teach the boys too. They should know about it. Do you understand? So it's very, but feminism is basically equal rights for me. And talking about the misconceptions, people see it as anybody that says that they are a feminist is basically a bully that knows book. Somebody literally told me feminists are bullies that know book.
For real?
And I'm like, I'm very serious. Are bullies that know book and they try to they are trying to boost
Or
women,
show themselves.
show
Kind of.
themselves, trying to boost women to trample on men. And I told I said, first of all, that's not what I do. Secondly, you're okay in that your high horse trampling on women. So when if imagine the tables are turned, you're feeling uncomfortable about it, then why do you keep doing it? That same right you have, this your mother should have it, your sister should have it, your girlfriend, your wife, your daughter should have it. So why is it a problem? I don't know why it's a problem for most people to men, most especially to grasp the concept of it. I think it's just that misogyny that's talking. Honestly, I think
But I've seen ladies who tell you, oh, you're feminist. No, 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 no. I beg, I beg, I beg. I don't
true,
want to. I'm
true.
not a feminist. I don't have anything to do with feminism. No, no, no. And I begin to wonder, this is actually for you. Recently, the governor of Abia State signed a bill
Signed,
into
yeah.
law
Oh, I
that
was
women
so
can now
happy.
inherit
Inherit.
their father's properties. I mean, and you see a woman coming out and saying, no, 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 I don't have any business. I'm not competing with. We're not in competition with any man.
We're not.
Honestly,
We're
that's
not.
not really the concept of feminism. Mr. Thelbert, can you tell us
Yes.
some of the misconceptions of feminism too in
Yes.
this our Nigeria?
Yes, there are so many. So much happy with what the governor of Abia State did. You mentioned, there are so many misconceptions about feminism. One, some people claim feminism is a power against men. That is not true. Two, they said feminism is men or women that hate men.
Hmm.
That's also not true.
True. They
You
say,
know,
they say it.
yes. So and then and that group of people also say feminism is only women that can be feminist. That's also not true. So feminism is not harmful to men. It's both men can also be feminist. And then feminism is not about fighting against men. No, 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 no. It's about equality. It's about humanism. It's about activating both gender for optimal use. Recently, Chimamanda Adichie wrote a book, Why We All Should Be Feminists.
Hmm.
And in that book, a line of that book said, and she defined feminism. I think that also helps to, clear most of these misconceptions about feminism. And she said, and I quote, a feminist is a man or a woman who says, yes, there's a problem with gender as it is today, and we must fix it. We must do better. All of us, women and men, must do better. Chimamanda Adichie. We should all be feminists. She said that in her book. So you see, it's about we, you and I, understanding or believing that there's a problem and we should need to fix it. It's not just about this person fighting this, no, 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 no.
Exactly.
So most people, like you said, most women say, I'm not a feminist, I don't like feminists. No, that's a misconception. The person needs to be tutored on what actually a feminist is.
So how can some of these misconceptions, how can they be corrected?
One of them is through creation awareness, what we are doing right now. Then another one is also by enlightening one-on-one coaching, enlightening most people on the streets who do not understand what feminism is all about. Who maybe when they see you, they say, no, 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 I don't want feminism. I don't. No, that's wrong. You have to educate them because most often, if you don't educate them, there's no way they will know. So they may live in that misconception uh,
Thy
till the
kingdom
kingdom come. So, so that needs to be cleared.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, this is still the Whisper Show on Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri, and we're taking a look at a couple of topics we've discussed from the inception of the program. We started with changing the narrative on misconceptions of feminism. We still have a couple of topics to also look into today on the program, but let's quickly go on a short break. When we come back, the conversation continues, and we'll open the phone lines to take your calls and messages. Still taking a look at a couple of topics we've discussed on the program from July 23rd up until now. So, quickly, the question for the week is mention four topics that we have discussed with the exception of the discussed ones. The discussed ones is this ones that we're discussing today on the program, which are changing the narrative on misconceptions of feminism, intro to ableism, understanding intersectionality, and standing in solidarity, changing the narrative, allyship, and also intergenerational solidarity. Mention four other topics that we've discussed outside these five topics that I just mentioned. If you are an ardent listener of the Whispers and Power Show, this is an opportunity to win a Christmas gift courtesy of the Whispers Empowered Show. Just mention four topics that we've discussed from July 23rd up until December 3rd, which is today, in exception of these topics: allyship, intergenerational solidarity, feminism, ableism, and understanding intersectionality. Come back to you, Ozuchukwu. We're moving to another topic, which is ableism. We're done with feminism. Let's move to ableism. Can you just tell us, give us a brief understanding of ableism?
Okay, there's something we try to do. We try to make in a month. We try to make all the topics be around one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about one thing. So basically, all the topics in that month. This was the first. This was July and some weeks in August. Was talking on feminism, ableism, understanding that intersectionality, and allyship, and standing in solidarity, and the everything in it. So ableism goes hand in hand with allyship and understanding intersectionality. Basically, when we talked about feminism and the response we got was that our feminists are this, feminists are that, is that our minds cannot be changed. We tried to bring men who are feminists to the studio. I don't know if you remember that. But men who are feminists in the studio and let them talk on why it's important for men to be feminist, for men to identify these gaps in society and want to create a change in it. Why it's important for men to be a part of the change making system. Why it's important for men to be in it. Why it's important for men who don't even live it or understand it, who want to understand it, because it's very important. Why it's also important for men to go outside and see a sister, a friend being her, or a total stranger being harassed and want to stop it. Because you know it won't happen to you. It's because she's female, she's a woman, sorry, and she's seen as a minority to some people. And then, but if it's in your power. You have the power to change that, so you should do something about it. That's allyship. To be an ally to somebody means you have that person's back. Come rain, come sunshine, you have that person's back. That person has your back. You trust that person. Do you understand? We're going to this. We're going to it together. That's what being an ally means. So if you're an ally to a feminist, or you are also a feminist, okay, and we try to inculcate bringing men to the studio to explain this to them, to the audience, to tell them that it's not just feminism, it's not just a woman thing. It doesn't have to be just women. I've seen men who are more passionate in this work than more females, than women. Do you understand? I've seen men who want to see the changes than women. I've seen women that tell you, do you understand? That one that is tradition. Some women see it. You see widows who want to inflict pain on a widow, if new widow. They want her to wash the body of the corpse, the dead husband. They want her to shave her hair. Why? Because they feel like they are so in the cultural misogyny or something about that. They want whatever was done to them to be done to someone else.
Person.
But that's not how it's supposed to be. Because you know the pain of something, you know how it feels. It should not. You should not want to pass that pain to someone else. It's just like someone that understands being a woman alone in Nigeria is not a small thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? And then somebody who says they are a feminist comes and abuses your human rights as a woman. It hurts more than when a stranger will do it. Because you feel like this woman, this feminist should know what it feels like. Do you know, to be marginalized, to be abused like this, and for people to do it to you, it hurts more. Do you understand? So yeah, ableism, allyship goes hand in hand. Standing in the gap for your sisters. This is basically on the men now. Standing in the gap for your sisters, being there for them. There are also women who can be allies. Gender women who are allies. Okay, can we take the call?
Good morning. Very well, thank you. You're welcome, sir.
Everybody wants to go for it. Because whatever I'm there, affect the man, affect one mother, sister, this about society. We also give the man people in order to protect our United whenever you do that, you are protecting your sister. Whenever in your neighborhood, you see a man. Honestly, in a certain way, I want to compare the one of the situation. If I get my all those regimes to play. It's been a long way. It's been a long way. So I think that's number one. We think effectively. Okay. Okay, so we must try to work helping our sisters. Wherever you see them, their community, your village, your family, when your brother, uncle, or cousin, if my sibling is one, treat us as their sister. In another man's compound, you must protect them. Because if you don't know, someone else will protect their sister wherever they go. However, we must not take this too far. Like the office one is the idea coming from America. We have women want to dominate, and we have people think they are called the police, and the government will take the man out of the home, away from the children, and they just pay for the house. This is taking something too far. I want to advise our women in America and Europe that we are Africans in the sense that we have our practice culture, and the people without the knowledge of their practice, putting and culture, like the free without you. So rather than they live in a free world, that is wrong to take you back one and ten. We must mental where we are coming from. I'm talking in our men. We can step to several public stories. This is the test, another thing. So suicide. So we must control the self from this angle of view. Women probably shouldn't push it too far to the point of insulting men, Africa, people, Nigerians, abroad, humiliating them, shaming them, pressing and bring them out of their house. Sometimes the man will be the kind of control where I want to come and see the children. And the woman will go and come to the appointment to shut it. We must address what we should do so that we don't push this too far. How does the other people maybe if they find the support from my community or together with the all of it already.
All right. Thank you, Fine. Mr. Talbot, would you like to react to some of the issues you raised?
Yes, he made a very wonderful point. I wouldn't like to talk about, I would like to dwell more on the feminism and ableism we talked about. That um, is something every man would like the daughter, the mom, the sister to, you know, to live in accordance with how it should be and not to be degraded. Nobody would like the sister, for example, the mom, or even the wife to be degraded. You know, you have to be treated equally like every other person, enjoy the social benefits, of the society. Now, regarding the one you talked about, free world and all that, well, I think that is more of a global concept. Um, I'm sure that most people who does that do it under the context of the law
Hmm.
of the site.
He actually pointed it towards feminism taken too far?
So far.
Don't you see
Yes,
that?
yes. Well, that is Chimamanda just talked about that. That's extreme form of feminism. Most people also, most people also observe, what do you call it? You know, they they have their rights, and then they take the extreme version of those rights. So that is not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is equality between all, treating everyone with fairness, with justice, and then with love.
That's
That's
what
what
you
we're
mean.
talking
All
about.
right.
He had me in the beginning of what he was saying, and then somehow he lost me. But I understand what he said, and he said we shouldn't behave like the Westerners. We shouldn't take it so far where a woman will call the police on her husband and get. For a women's tolerance level is very high. Me, I don't have it, shall, but some women, so women's tolerance level is very high. For someone to tolerate a lot and then have to call the police on you, you have to have done something to merit it. Do you understand? Yes, feminism can be taken too far, but I won't call it feminism taken too far. Do you understand? When people take some things too far and call it feminism, that's when the misconceptions come and the problems. I won't call it feminism. When they say, when it becomes that a woman can override a man's right, a woman can trample on a man, a woman can talk over a man, her views matter more than a man's own, I totally disagree with that. Do you understand? And I don't call it feminism. So him saying feminism can be overdone is something I don't agree with.
Okay.
I don't agree that feminism can be overdone. People overdo it, but I won't call them feminists. Do you understand? That because I don't want to increase the misconceptions, I still call them feminists. So feminism is basically equal rights. The Westerners have laws. They have their laws. We have ours. They have the children abroad can call the police on their parents if they are beaten. You cannot try it here. Who is going to answer you? The police will come and help your parents. Do you understand? So they have their laws and we have ours. And even there, he said it like women are more powerful there. It's not true. It's actually not. Yes, they are in politics. Yes, they are in more spaces than women are in our country here, but it's not the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So he made a very valid point in the beginning, but last one.
Good morning.
Join the conversation. And you're saying we in Nigeria, Igbos most especially. Now there are Igbo cultures that violate human rights. When a woman loses her husband, she's expected to cut her hair, swear with one or four that she's not the one that killed the husband. I'm not telling you something I heard, I'm telling you things I witnessed. Wash the dead. Some people were forced to drink the water used to wash the corpse. Now when a man's wife dies, he's not asked to cut his hair. Some of them cut their beard out of respect, which I understand very well. Do you understand? But it's not a law for them to cut anything.
They even encourage them to get married.
To get
within
married.
6 months.
Since what? Some of them bring their girlfriends to the funerals. What are you saying? No, let's be real.
But a woman is expected to stay for as long as to mourn her husband.
It's double standard. So when we're talking about equal rights, you can't say that we have culture that we cannot overlook. These are some cultural practices that infringe human rights. Harmful widowhood practices are not on men. Men don't, you don't hear harmful widower practices. You don't hear it. The Osu system is mostly on women. Osu caste system affects both men too. Do you understand? You hear you're an Osu, you cannot marry from this place and this place. But if the man has enough money, forget it, they overlook it. Do you understand? Now you can't tell me that you can't over. Okay, culture didn't work for you. You went to religion. Like the guest in the studio said, the Bible did say the man is the head of the family. Did not say the woman is the tail. And did he said the woman is the neck. Without the neck, the head will not stand. So I don't know why we're throwing words and we're arguing and everything, but we're not saying women should be bigger, women should be above, women should be higher. It should be equal. That's all we want. We want that if you have a say in a situation, your wife should have the same say in a situation. Imagine if you treat your wife the way you treat your wife at home, your daughter. Think about if a man treats your daughter like that. You will behave yourself. Do you understand? We're not saying woman should grow, big, carry feather, override. No. We want that where you have a say, she should have a say too. And you said something about paying bride price, you marry her. It doesn't mean you own her.
She's not a property.
Even people have that mentality where if you pay bride price, you've married.
You own her.
You own her.
You just
No.
acquire the property.
You acquire property for what?
Sure. Welcome to clear your name.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. Just to add to what Ozzy has said, yes, the goal of feminism is to have equality for all genders. We have to make it clear. That's to have equality with all genders. The woman enjoys basic rights like man. For example, right to educational opportunities, right to vote, right to make personal decisions about herself, about her views, right to share her views, protection against workplace discrimination and others. A woman enjoys those basic rights. Like what we mentioned, what happens in the Western world, we don't champion extreme versions of feminism. That's not what we're here. We're here to prove and to create awareness that women enjoys rights. And when we talk about rights, when we talk about equality, for example, in the family, when we talk about equality, the man is the head, the woman is, like you said, the neck. The Bible did not say the woman is the tail. No, God who made them male and female did not say that. So basically, the goal of feminism is to champion equality for all. The man is the first among equals. What we call in Latin primus inter pares, the first among equals.
Ozzy would just tell us about intergenerational solidarity. That's part of the topics we're looking at today. So, Ozzy,
Thank you, Didi. There are anyone that call you answer. Intergenerational solidarity was the theme for this year's International Youth Day, which is on the 12th of August. And we talked about it on radio. We talked about what it means, what it represents, what it stands for. Now, when we talk about intergenerationality, is the balance between two generations. My generation is obviously not his generation. It's obviously not your generation. Do you understand? So we take the best of 3, 4, 2 generations and create a balance for the new world. The people, they call us Gen Z. People that are coming now are Gen Alpha. Do you understand?
Oh, that's
The
a
way
name.
you are not up to date.
I'm not.
I'll be calling you. So the way you're used to solving problems is not the way I will solve it. Maybe you're used to going there face to face and attack. Am I go online and do much bigger things online that you would do face to face? Do you understand? There are different approaches to it, and this ones might even find a newer way to do it. This Gen Alpha coming might find a better way to do it. Now we're not saying throw away your method, throw away my method and let's use theirs. There are going to be flaws in their system, as there were flaws in mine and flaws in yours. We're saying take the best of every system, take the best of every generation, and create a new system with it, create a balance. Now, international solidarity is when we talk about solidarity, talk about standing in the gap. Talk about being your brother's keeper, being your sister's keeper, standing there for them when they need you, even when they don't need you, you are there. Okay, so international solidarity is you not saying because you experience this, I have to experience it to know what life is. That is thing they say experience is the best teacher. I don't agree with that thing. I say I learn from other people's experiences, so I don't make that same mistake. I cannot see somebody walk into fire and say, "Oh, let me experience it to know if it's hot." The way you will jump and the way you will shake alone will tell me it's hot. I don't want to feel the pain. I'm too soft for that. Do you
On the
understand?
soft life. Ozzy of the soft life.
So basically, that's what international solidarity means. Because it was you suffered something doesn't mean I have to do it. You should be the one to stand and say no. My younger sister should not suffer this. I know the pain of this, and I should be able to stand for the ones coming, the Gen Alpha coming, and say no. This was not the best way to do this. No, this is going to harm them. No, I don't want it this way. And say no, we should find a better way. There's always a better way to do something. We just need to look for it. There are better ways, a million and one ways to do something best. We just need to look for that way, that method.
Yeah. Mr. Thelbert, in
Yes.
20 seconds, about the misconceptions of feminism. How do we get it right in 20 seconds?
Yes, one, by creating awareness. Two, by doing one-on-one training, coaching on the people you meet on the streets. Three, by I mentioned creating awareness. Then the third one is by holding seminars on feminism. Why we should enjoy and boost the quality of our human rights.
All right, boost the
Thank you.
quality of human rights. And it's a wrap from here on today's edition of the Whispers Empowered Show on Boss Radio 98.9 FM. Or worry.